Hello, Mr. Blake. I'm back.
And? Did you find the amulet?
That's a long story.
Well, go on then. I can't wait to hear what happened.
I found the amulet. It was walled up in the Lord's mausoleum.
Really? It really does exist then. And you've got it. Show me.
Well, I did have it, but it was stolen from me.
Stolen? How did that happen?
No idea. I hid it in my cabin during the crossing. Someone broke in and rummaged through all my luggage.
Was anything else missing?
No, not a thing.
Someone must have been following you.
I didn't notice anyone. Who could have known I'd been looking for an amulet in that godforsaken dump?
Certain people may be taking a great interest in your investigations, Mr. Halligan. Do not underestimate the power of the Druids.
Oh, I don't know. Perhaps it was just a case of ordinary petty theft.
I very much doubt it, Mr. Halligan. Nobody else knew of our conversation. You were followed. And now the amulet has fallen into the wrong hands. Now nothing can stop the perfection of the ritual.
I haven't met anyone who looked like a druid so far.
No, Mr. Halligan. You won't recognize the inheritors by their cloaks and sickles. They're people, just like you and me. They could be powerful industrialists, high-ranking politicians, or influential military men, people in key positions of society.
What can I do then? I can't possibly check up on the entire upper class of British society looking for a couple of druids.
No, but it may be worth your while to keep an eye on groups of neo-druids. If anyone tries to justify their claims to the druids' inheritance, they will.
Neo-druids? What are they?
There are a number of groups around claiming to be the Druids' rightful successors. They're organized in orders, like Templars or Freemasons.
Tell me more about these Neo-Druids.
Like I said, the Neo-Druids try to live their lives according to ancient Druid ideals. Some of them do a lot of charitable work as well. But there are some really dubious associations going around, combining the Druids' customs with occult rites. Rumors say that there is such a sect at large somewhere in London.
In London, you said? Do you know where I might find these people?
I've no idea. All I know is that the only people who know anything about the Order refer to it as the Circle.
Thank you, Mr. Blake. I'll see what I can make of it.
Good. If you have any more questions, don't hesitate to call on me anytime you like.
One more thing, Mr. Blake.
Yes?
I get the impression this business could get pretty dangerous from now on.
Yes. Very likely, Mr. Halligan.
It may be safer for both of us if we let someone else in on the matter. Please call Melanie Turner in Oxford and tell her the whole story. Make sure she learns everything you've told me. She works at the Anthropological Museum. Her number's in the phone book. And tell her I'll get in touch with her myself as soon as possible. Would you do that for me?
Of course, Mr. Halligan. Good luck.
Why can't we give him the phone number? Right, so we have information on the Neo-Druids and the Circle. Let's see if we can access the database.
Halligan, into my office at once!
Oh, that doesn't sound good.
Halligan! Come on in. I suppose we should be glad that you drop in now and then.
What's the matter, Chief?
You know, Halligan, I was just asking myself what you've been doing.
I've been investigating, Chief.
Well, have you? And do you know what I've been doing? I've been dismissing loads of press people, worried citizens, and politicians from my office. The phone hasn't stopped ringing since this morning. The mayor's been to my office, and I haven't seen much of you. When do you expect to come up with results?
If this case is so important, then why isn't there a whole team on top of it? Instead of Halligan, who Miller describes as being just a little bit more competent than Lowry.
You'll get a report at the end of the week.
The end of the week? Why not at the end of the month or at the end of the year? I want the results on my desk tomorrow morning, Halligan. And now, I want to know where you've been all this time.
You'll find out when you read the report I'm going to write.
Don't be impertinent, Detective. As your chief, I'm entitled to ask you about the results of investigations and your proceedings whenever I like.
Yes, Chief, of course.
That sounds better. Otherwise, I could have you write a report about every single step of your proceedings, and I think you know that.
Very well, then. I was visiting an expert on Druids.
You were what? Halligan, have you lost your marbles? You're not supposed to be indulging in your hobbies. You're supposed to be solving the skeleton murders.
Is that all, Chief?
No, that is not all. One of the phone calls this morning was from the 4th District in Oxford.
Uh-huh. And?
A beggar has been to see them. He claimed that somebody had first put him to sleep and then robbed him. And do you know who that person was? No? A man who calls himself Detective Halligan! Our colleagues looked into the Central Personal Database and guess what? They found a man by the name of Detective Halligan. And he works for my department! What do you say to that?
When did you receive the phone call from our colleagues?
Oh, less than half an hour ago. Have you any idea how embarrassed I was about the affair? The colleague I talked to said that the beggar still had some of the substance he'd been knocked out with. Medical alcohol with apple juice. Halligan, please tell me you didn't do it.
I had nothing to do with it, Chief, honestly.
Well, I hope so, for your benefit. From now on, I expect you to start looking into the case at hand.
Okay, Chief, I read you.
Indeed? Excellent, Detective. Then get out and do your job. And Halligan, if I should hear that you are conducting your investigations in any dubious or illegal way, I'll take you off the case immediately.
Understood, Chief.
Dubious? There has been plenty of that so far.
Hello, Chief. I've got a question.
Oh, have you? I'm listening, but keep it short.
Chief, I've been to see Janet. Have these absurd measures been introduced because of me?
Among others, yes. They were introduced for your benefit. Don't you like them?
Are you still cross with me because of that business with the royal family?
Indeed. Yes, indeed, Detective. The press and the inspectorate made my life hell for 8 weeks. You should be grateful that we somehow managed to keep things under control. But jokes like that are a thing of the past. Once and for all, you and Lowry will have to ask for my signature before you take a single step, even if you just want to go to the toilet.
What happened? What did Halligan do?
Chief, that could take ages. We may lose important clues in the meantime.
I'm sure you'll cope with the situation, Halligan. Now, stop whining. I'm sick of hearing it.
Well then. But you'll be held responsible.
Of course, Halligan. That's what I'm your chief for. And now our nice little chat is over. Get back to work, Detective.
Of course, Chief. Thanks a lot.
Don't get stroppy, Halligan.
Hello, Janet.
Hello, Brent. I've heard you've already been on the move today.
Yes, I'm conducting investigations in the skeleton murder case. You've heard about it, haven't you?
Indeed. I couldn't fail to hear the conversation between Larry and the chief. Okay, what do you need?
Oh, I've met an interesting old man who has told me about an organization called The Circle.
That sounds exciting.
Yes, doesn't it? Well, not bad, is it? Please have the necessary information ready by 2 p.m. and arrange a press conference.
Are you mad? Look, I'm not your secretary, Detective. Any information in this department is to be treated according to Regulation 12A23. Look, you've got the case file, and that will have to suffice. If you need more information, then you will have to get a 234-2 with 1 copy.
Unfortunately, there are several misogynistic lines that Halligan can direct towards Janet. But thankfully, we don't have to go down that route to progress with the story.
A 342-2?
No, a 234-2. Have you got it or not?
No, I don't have it.
Well then, here's one.
So I won't get anywhere without it then.
Exactly, Brent. Rules are rules.
Good. See you later then.
Take your time, Brent.
That's a form for information procurement. I need information from the central database. It's about the skeleton murders. But Janet says she needs a signed 223. I've got it with me.
You've got it with you? How nice for you. And do you know something, Halligan? I will not sign it. What do you say to that?
Wow, why not?
How do you expect me to conduct investigations if you won't allow me to use the database, Chief?
You'll have to get up off your backside and do your own work, Halligan. I feel much more comfortable knowing that you and Lowry can't get up to any more nonsense with the confidential data stored in our database.
Right, so he's had the mayor and pretty much everyone on his back to get this case solved, but he is hampering our investigation. That makes a lot of sense.
Of course, Chief. Thanks a lot.
Don't get stroppy, Halligan.
Well, maybe we can trick him.
I can't see any connection there.
Wait a minute, what was this? Is this the carbon paper?
A sheet of carbon paper. Very useful when dealing with bureaucrats.
Ah, there we go.
Now I've got a clipboard with the form for information procurement, the carbon paper, and the form for stationery procurement. But the carbon paper juts out a bit. That will be noticed. The carbon paper's still sticking out. The chief is bound to notice that.
I believe that we are going to need to use some scissors. But the only scissors that I know of are in Larry's office. So we need to find a way to distract him. But before I can do that, there is one thing that I need to do. Oh, we have some messages. I should have done this before, but we need to get to the screen anyway. I need to get Halligan to respond.
Doesn't work like that. You don't hear anything, and nothing happens either.
Alright.
What's wrong again? No dialing tone.
There we go. Now, before I leave, let's listen to these messages.
Hello, sir. This is Owl's Pizza Palace. Your account from last quarter has not yet been paid. It amounts to £275. Please see to it within the next few days, otherwise we will have to stop serving you.
£275? Wow, that's my personal record.
Why are they still serving him?
Hello, Mr. Halligan. This is Melanie Turner speaking. I was wondering why I hadn't heard from you, but Mr. Blake just called and told me everything. I'm out and about quite a lot at the moment, and you may have difficulties trying to get me on the phone. But if you need me, just leave a message. See you later. Hello, Mr. Halligan. This is Melanie Turner speaking. I was wondering why I hadn't heard from you, but Mr. Blake just called and told me everything. I'm out and about quite a lot at the moment, and you may have difficulties trying to get me on the phone. But if you need me, just leave a message. See you later.
My answering machine. A perfect way of avoiding unpleasant phone calls.
I didn't mean to replay that message.
Let me give you some good advice, Detective Halligan. Don't interfere with our affairs. It wouldn't be very healthy.
What? Who was that?
That sounded a little bit like Miller.
Halligan? This is Miller. Damn it, where are you? Do I have to speak to this damned answering machine if I want to get hold of you? If by any chance you happen to turn up in this department, I want to see you in my office. Miller speaking. I've had enough. You better come to my office as soon as possible. Did you get that?
The Chief. I'm glad I've got that behind me.
Brent? Hello? Is that you? It's your mother. You know, I hate these modern talking machines. I haven't heard anything from you for months now, Brent. Is that any way to treat your mother? Aunt Annie's celebrating her 75th birthday at the weekend. We have both been invited. You will come, won't you? Brent? And please, wear something smart. Do me a favor.
Oh, God. That's all I need.
Just give her a call. Now this should open up further dialogue options with Lowry, who is still levitating.
What is it this time, Halligan?
Have you ever heard of an organization called The Circle?
The Circle? Is that somehow connected to the crop circles?
Okay, forget it, Lowry. Where can I find Detective Stryker?
Stryker? On holiday? Why?
Maybe he knows more about the organization called The Circle.
Oh, you're still going on about that, are you? Well, if you want to hear my opinion, Halligan, those strange crop circles were drawn in the fields by a pensioner. By the way, what's that got to do with the skeleton murders?
Dear God, Lowry. Just tell me where I can find Stryker. Maybe he could tell me more about the skeleton murders.
Halligan, I coordinated the case. Stryker was my right hand. You won't get anything new out of him.
Could I just use your phone?
Haven't you got your own telephone, Halligan?
Yes, but there's something not quite right with it.
No dialing tone. Is that it?
Tell me, Lowry, what's your extension?
196. You know that.
Yes, right. I just forgotten it. I don't phone you so very often.
Yeah, and that's the way I like it, Halligan. Don't you dare start ringing me up and getting on my nerves.
That's interesting to know. I believe that Lowry's extension is randomized. As during my test playthrough, it was 460.
How do you know that?
Someone in accounts has had a look at the department's telephone bills, Halligan, and you're the record holder by a very, very wide margin. Your phone will only work internally from now on. Janet told me that when we went to the cinema. Where do you keep calling to anyway? The Caribbean?
I don't think that's got anything to do with you, Lowry.
Oh, yes, okay, of course, sure. It's none of my business. But if you think that you can make your phone calls from here, you're dead wrong.
Okay. I'll talk to you later, Lowry.
Actually, I could be wrong. Right, we need to get this message lined up, as we're not going to speak to Lowry ourselves.
Scotland Yard Detective Lowry.
Miller speaking. I've had enough. You better come to my office as soon as possible. Did you get that?
Oh, of course, sir. I'm coming. I'm on my way.
There we go.
Now I've got a clipboard with the form for information procurement and the form for stationery procurement. Phew.
Are we going to put these scissors back? I guess not.
The show-off always has to bring the latest designer rubbish to the office, as long as it's expensive.
Lowry is most likely still in Miller's office.
Lowry is in there. Rather him than me.
Alright, so let's disappear for a moment.
Hey, Halligan. How'd you get on with Miss Turner? Are you going to see her again?
You could say that.
What? Really? Congratulations, mate.
Thank you. Thank you.
And could she help you with the bones?
I think so. I'm on a new trail.
I see. Sounds mysterious.
It is, Chris, it is. Perhaps I'll tell you when I find out more.
All right, Halligan. Good luck anyway.
Thanks.
Alright, Lowry should be out. And after further reading, I believe that Lowry's extension is always 196, so I made a mistake a few minutes ago.
Chief, I've got an 88M9 order form for stationery here.
For stationery? You need new stationery again? Halligan, you'll lead this department to financial ruin someday, do you know that?
Yes, sir. No, sir, it's nothing extravagant. I could do with a new pencil sharpener, that's all.
When will you learn to take better care of your things, Halligan? Scotland Yard can't print its own money. Every month the accounts department gives me a hard time because of the deficit. Our budget for office costs is limited.
I know, Chief, but I'm not able to work without a minimum of stationery. Here, I've prepared this for you. You just need to sign it.
Okay then. Okay, give it to me. But that's the last time, you understand? You'll have to buy the next sharpener from your own money.
All right, Chief.
Anything else, Detective?
No, that was it.
That's good. You know the way out, don't you, Detective?
Of course, Chief.
It's good to know that we have a detective who cannot tell that there are 3 sheets on that clipboard.
That's a form for information procurement. It's me again, Janet.
Hello, Brent. How's your case going? Have you got any further yet?
Janet, I need a database inquiry. Have you got time?
Of course, Brent. Have you got the form for me?
Yes, it's here.
Good. Well, go ahead then.
I'm looking for information about a group called The Circle.
The Circle. Just a sec. It won't take a moment. Yes, we've got something in the database about them. Let me see. An order of Neo-Druids. Their head office is in London. The head of the group is called Lord Sinclair.
Do we know about anyone with a criminal record within the group?
Yeah, just give me a second, Brent. Somebody once filed a complaint against Lord Sinclair for disturbing the nightly peace.
Is that all?
No, hang on. Oh, some months ago, a gardener was killed on Sinclair's estate, and the murderer was never found. After the murder, Lord Sinclair and his order were under surveillance for some time, but there was nothing conspicuous to be found.
Ah, that's interesting. Anything else?
Well, Sinclair was fined once for hunting without a license. No, nothing else.
Could you please print that out for me?
Of course. Would you mind telling me what these Neo-Druids have to do with your case? Is this one of your usual mad ideas?
I don't think so. I'll have a closer look at these people anyway.
Well then, happy hunting.
Good. Thanks a lot, Janet. I have to go.
Okay, Brent. See you later.
Hello, Janet. How's it going?
Halligan, what's up?
Oh, nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Oh, then please let me get back to work.
I was going to ask one or two of those other lines of dialogue, but they seem to have disappeared. It's not apparent right now, but there is a reason why I'm doing this.
I should leave a message for Miss Turner.
Yeah, instead of phoning her up and leaving her an answer phone message, we're going to go all the way to Oxford to drop off a piece of paper.
Hello? Haven't seen you for a while.
You get lost, you crook. You nicked all my pennies. Me last 60 pence. It's bad enough I get robbed and the police do nothing about it. Now you coppers are nicking the stuff yourselves.
Hey, you shouldn't see it like that. Let's say it was business. I really needed money for the phone, and you got my lovely homemade schnapps in return.
There. Gorgeous schnapps. That stuff wiped me out straight. I want nothing to do with you, mate. Get lost.
This beggar is a very intelligent person. If only everyone in this game told Halligan to get lost.
That'll do it. That should be enough for Miss Turner to find me in case something happens to me.